Ever felt like your brain just won't shut up? You replay old conversations. You overanalyze every message. You create entire scenarios that never even happened. You smile on the outside, but inside your thoughts are screaming. That isn't just anxiety, that's overthinking. A silent storm turning your mind into its own battlefield. Psychologists say people who overthink aren't weak. They're often the ones who feel the deepest, care the most, and notice what others completely miss. Their mind runs faster, their emotions cut deeper, and sometimes their intelligence becomes their own worst enemy. But what if overthinking isn't the problem? What if it's your brain's desperate attempt to make sense of a world that never slows down? Let's decode the psychology of people who overthink everything and uncover why the loudest battles are often the ones that happen in silence. Overthinking isn't just thinking too much. It's your brain's way of trying to feel safe, a kind of mental armor against regret, rejection, or failure. Every overthinker has one thing in common. They crave control, because control feels like safety. And in a world that's unpredictable, their thoughts become a shelter, even if that shelter slowly turns into a cage. Psychologists call this cognitive looping, when your brain replays the same scene again and again, searching for a version that hurts less. What if I said that wrong? What if they didn't really mean it? What if I mess it up again? But every what if is really your mind whispering, I don't trust myself to handle the unknown. And here's the irony. The mind that tries so hard to find peace ends up creating chaos. Because the more you analyze life, the less you actually live it. In relationships, overthinkers are often the ones who care the most. They read between every line. They feel every pause. They sense emotional shifts before anyone else even notices. But that sensitivity comes at a cost. A text left unseen feels like rejection. A delayed reply feels like distance. And silence becomes louder than words. Their mind turns tiny moments into emotional earthquakes. And when they finally speak up, they're told you're overreacting. So they retreat. They stop talking about what they feel and start living entirely in their own head, where every thought echoes twice as loud. But here's what most people don't realize. Overthinkers are incredibly intelligent. Their mind isn't chaotic because it's broken. It's chaotic because it's powerful. They see layers in every emotion. They understand people better than people understand themselves. But that gift of awareness, that ability to sense, decode, and predict, becomes painful when there's no off switch. Their empathy becomes overanalysis. Their caution becomes fear, and their care becomes paralysis. Overthinking often traces back to early experiences, maybe growing up where mistakes weren't safe or love felt unpredictable. So the brain learns a rule. If I think enough, maybe I can avoid being hurt again. That's not overthinking. That's emotional survival. But survival mode isn't meant to be permanent, because the mind isn't built to run at full speed forever. The more you analyze, the more you disconnect. From the moment, from people, from yourself. The truth is, overthinkers don't need to stop thinking. They just need to change why they think. Instead of asking, what did I do wrong? Try asking, what is this moment trying to teach me? Awareness is power, but only when it leads to understanding, not self-punishment. Overthinking doesn't make you weak. It means you feel deeply, care honestly, and crave meaning in a world that often feels shallow. You just have to remind yourself, not every question deserves an answer, and not every thought deserves your attention. In the end, overthinking isn't the enemy. Misunderstanding yourself is. Because the mind that overthinks is usually the heart that wants peace, but keeps searching for logic in chaos. Overthinkers don't struggle because they're weak. They struggle because they care too much, imagine too vividly, and expect the same depth from a world that rarely slows down. The truth is, their thoughts aren't the problem. It's the meaning they attach to them. Not every delay means rejection. Not every silence means disapproval. Not every mistake means failure. Sometimes things just are. No hidden message, no secret signal. Just life happening. Freedom begins when you stop asking, what if I'm wrong? And start asking, what if it doesn't matter? Because peace isn't found when you stop thinking. It's found when your thoughts finally stop fighting you. Maybe the real power isn't in silencing your thoughts, but in learning to listen to them differently. Because every overthinker isn't lost, they're just searching for peace in places their mind never learned to rest. You can't always control what your brain says, but you can choose which voice to believe. So the next time your mind starts racing, remember this: you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. Breathe. Let the moment be what it is. Trust that not everything needs to be figured out right now, because the loudest minds often belong to the kindest hearts. And if that's you, don't fight your thoughts. Learn from them. You don't need to stop overthinking to find peace. You just need to stop believing that every thought is true. This was the psychology of people who overthink everything.